Ashley, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, Stephen. It's lovely to be here.
So, you are an actor of stage and screen?
I am for, I don't know how many years it is. I think, well, I did it as a child, and then I think it's been about 20, it'll be 25 years in January from when I did my first big job, yeah.
Gosh. And what that first big job was what?
Oh, God. It was actually, I know it's all relative, isn't it, big jobs? But it was actually the Fame, the musical.
Yes.
In the West End, with an actually quite phenomenal cast now. We had Golda Rochevelle, who plays the Queen in Bridgerton. Yeah, like we had, it was a ridiculous cast. But yeah, it was 25 years ago. I remember I was about 18 or 19. Yeah, so I did it on the road, and then it went into the West End. And that
amazing.
Yeah, and then I moved into telly from there. Yeah.
Perfect. So would you say nowadays you do more screen than stage, or is it still a mix?
Well, it's still a mix, but I'm a dad now, and it's just so, 8 shows a week are just, 2.
Oh, God, yeah.
You know what it's like, 2 shows on a Wednesday, 2 shows on a Saturday, sometimes 9 shows over Christmas, 10 shows over Christmas. So I do work more in telly now, but I think over the last 3 years I've done 3 from scratch musicals, which means like not a transfer from America. That's been like basically starting at the workshops right through to the production. And the last big one I did was the new Live Aid musical at the Old Vic called Just for One Day. Oh. Yeah, which was, so I finished that in March, and I'm ready to get back on telly now.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. And so obviously Doctor Who, it is a big deal. It's a cultural phenomenon, isn't it? It's been going 60 years. And so to be a part of that, did that feel like something special, or was it just another job for you?
No, it was something so special. It really was. And to be honest with you, I had a bit of a time because I was up for it feels like ages ago now, because we filmed it a year ago, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah, or just over a year ago. And I'd actually been in for a job that I really wanted and got right down to finals for a musical that was meant to be going on over the summer. And I had a horrific last audition and I didn't get it. And I was really, really upset, but I had to have my Doctor Who self-tape in. I think at 3:00 that day, and I was like, I'm done with the industry. I just need a break. I'm just going to spend time with my daughter. And then my friend works in the casting office at Doctor Who. Ah. Yeah, so it works for Andy Pryor, who casts it, and he's a great, great mate. And he was like, where's your tape? And I was like, no, I'm not putting my tape in today. And he was like, I think this is going to be a really good thing. And I think you're a bit mad not putting the tape in. Then, so I went over to my friend's house and I did the tape in about maybe 10 minutes. Yeah. Sent it off. And then, the rest is history. But I got offered it at 6:00 that night.
Oh, brilliant.
So the day completely turned around. And then I was in prosthetics over in Aylesbury, I think, literally the next day. So that's why it was such a quick turnaround, because of that.
Oh, gosh. So it was literally audition and then go.
Because it was this huge bird, head, if anybody remembers. Yeah. Older. But going back to your original question, I think with something like Doctor Who, I feel, especially as I'm getting older now, you want to be part of stuff that means something to people and that's iconic. And I've dipped in and out of it over the years. I'm kind of like Billy Piper era, and then I love and then Catherine Tate and David Tennant. Ridiculous. Yes. So around then,
iconic,
completely iconic, and just so character driven, and all those things that like mix that make it just such an amazing thing. So I was really, I didn't take it lightly getting offered it. I was thrilled.
Yeah, it must have been amazing. And so you said you did a self-tape.
Yeah.
And so there was no in-person audition process. It's just a self-tape.
Well, I can't tell you, Stephen, the way that the industry's gone, because I think Corrie, Call the Midwife, A Kind of Spark. I've done a lot of telly over the last sort of 3 years, and I think I've just done self-tapes. And then
do you think is that in the wake of COVID and everyone realize that they could do things remotely, and it's sort of,
Yeah, it's the wake of
that's
it's that, and I think it's become a bit of a funny thing because some people are like, I just want to get into the room, but when you've got that control over an audition, like over your self tape, and you can, if you can
yes.
do it again and go and not get flustered in front of a panel full of people, it. There's something about it that's actually, I think it's got a lot of people into telly who maybe wouldn't have been seen for a lot of telly in the first place. So for me, I think that the self-tape it's got its negatives, but it's really got its positives as well.
And so did they give you, sides for the character to do for your self-tape?
I had a lot of sides that didn't actually appear in the program, but I had a lot to do with Deborah Baker, who's an actress she did It's a Sin for Russell T Davies.
Oh yeah,
and she's a really amazing, gritty actress. So we'd worked together before. So when I was doing my self tape with the housekeeper, that was my scenes. And then of course when it got through to the actual final draft, I don't think I was in any scenes with Deborah actually, but all of my stuff with Indira, Paul Foreman, and Nancy Brobin Platt. So I had the sides, I did my scenes, but of course not actually realising that I was going to be in a bird head. So I was really acting my socks off, not realising that actually I was going to be in prosthetics for a lot of the time.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, have you ever done anything in prosthetics before?
Never. And I've got to tell you, I mean, it's not for the faint-hearted.
I can imagine.
It really is something else because, I got picked up in a car, taken over to this fabulous prosthetic studio, and it's not like the old days, where you had the plaster cast on your face, the 2 straws up your nose, and then you have to lie there for hours. That's all gone. They do it all digitally. And so I just sat down, lots of cameras all around me, and then I left. So I didn't actually get the huge impact of what having prosthetics for sometimes 14 hours a day and on night shoots as well. I didn't get what that was going to be like. So it was really, really full on. I've never done it before. And me and Indira were joking in the dressing in the green room. Actually, we were like, for £5 million, would you wear prosthetics every day? And we were like, I don't know. I mean, because it really, it's hot. You've got to sort of eat through a straw. You're paranoid about the makeup around your mouth. It's really complex. Yeah. So hats off to anybody who's done it on a long stint.
Yeah. And I mean, there must be people who do it, that's their main thing they do all the time as well.
Well, I think so. And I think with Doctor Who, because I saw Phil Collinson actually at Hayden Gwynn's memorial, and Phil's one of the producers of it, and Bonnie Langford was there, and she's obviously in the show. I did a musical called Old Friends that we were all in, and she was talking to Phil, and I went up to Phil and I was like, "Hi, Phil," and no idea who I was, so I had to get I had to get the old phone out, and he was like, "I've just been looking at your face for the last 2 weeks," but obviously. So yeah,
your bird face,
my beautiful bird face. But it's an art.
Yeah.
It's an art, and obviously, because it's okay when you're on set, but it's all the waiting around. It was baking hot in Cardiff, in our cabins, and we all to be honest, we really had each other's backs. I love Indira, I love Paul, and I love Nan. It was a real experience to be in those prosthetics. It really was.
Yeah. I was going to ask, particularly Indira, what was it like working with her? Because I know she's a phenomenal actress and very well respected.
Do you know what? It was really funny with Indira because I was actually quite scared because she's so powerful, isn't she? Like her, just as a woman and as a person and as an actress, there's just something so, I mean, look, Game of Thrones, Rome, all of those huge parts that she's played. But I love Indira so much. She's so human, and she's
Yeah.
Really, really good fun. We played a lot of games, and we actually had a real moment in We went for a drive through Starbucks with our heads on, and me and Dick, because we just got so close on the gig, and we went for a drive through Starbucks. We were there, and we were thinking we were going to like really shock them, and they weren't bothered at all. They couldn't afford it. Indira Varma in full bird thing, me in the bird head, and they were like, "Yeah, what's your order?" So,
oh my god!
Yeah, so we did. But Indira, she's a fabulous actress, and I think she really is an actress. You know, I think there's sometimes with telly and film, actors can like really just go, do you know what, I'm going to stick with this because it's easier. But she's going to the Old Vic with Rami Malek. She's just been doing Macbeth with Ray Fiennes in Canada, in Liverpool. So it's about the craft with Indira, and I think that's why she's just such an exciting actress to work with. And I think it really radiated in that episode.
Yes, she really is. I mean, she'll be familiar to listeners of the podcast because about 20 years ago, she had quite a major role in Torchwood, the Doctor Who spin-off.
I know, we did talk a lot about that. And that's why I think she was so surprised to come back as another character. Do you know what I mean? I think it was yeah, she loved it. I mean, Indira's there's nobody quite like her. She's great.
Did you have much to do with Ncuti and Millie?
Well, Millie, I did Corrie with. Did Coronation. I arrested Millie when she was 14.
Oh wow!
Yeah. I arrested her. So she's just such a lovely, lovely girl. It couldn't happen to a better person. I'm saying everybody's lovely now. I'm going to say someone's horrible in a minute, but no. But basically, no. With Millie, on my first night, which was a night shoot in Newport, in this great big manor house, this mansion house. I mean, it was huge, and it was a night shoot. And I walked into the green room, and I actually know Millie. You know, I mean, we're not best mates, but we know each other. And I walked in, I was like, Millie, and she was like, hi. And I was like, Millie, it's Ashley. She was, oh my God, Ashley, because obviously it was the first day, so it was really hard it was quite hard to connect with people, if I'm honest with you.
Yes.
On that, it's a night shoot. It was so hard. We were sat around for a long time, but I tell you who was just adorable, Jonathan Groff. I mean, I've just, so much time for him. So lovely. So he kind of said that he felt like a bit of an outsider on the set because American, so respected. But to me, because we're both from theatre and telly, we had a lot in common, and we just had a scream. But Ncuti's a very important leading man, isn't he? I didn't really have that much to do with Ncuti, but I really respect him as an actor, a fabulous actor, and I think he's doing a really great job with it's hard, isn't it, to take on a role like that when these huge juggernaut performers have been in them before. But I think there was a real electric energy about him. And when Ncuti and Jonathan did their big sort of like when we were in that final scene where it's between Ruby and the Chuldur, that was I must say, I haven't felt like that on set for quite some time. It was electric. It was very theatrical. And that scene for me, I was really proud to be a part of it. The first gay kiss, I mean, really? I think people keep on correcting us and saying that John Barrowman, there was a gay kiss years ago. So
there was, but it's very different because this was the first time the Doctor chose to do that. The other one was more of a sort of, John Barrowman's character initiated it, and it wasn't necessarily romantic or anything, whereas this had a much more heightened feel to it. So yeah,
wow,
definitely a milestone.
And they had a real chemistry with them as well, which I thought was really exciting. Though they did finish early, we all finished early so they could go to the Beyonce concert in Cardiff. Which Jonathan and Ncuti went upset. I was very, very jealous. But great.
Oh, I bet.
I mean, but I think just with Russell T Davies and what he's now doing with this series, it's going to ruffle feathers, isn't it?
No pun intended.
Yeah. Well done. That was quick. No, yeah, I think we're going to ruffle Chuldur's feathers, especially. And I think, as I said, I don't really know Ncuti, but from what I've been reading in interviews, he's a bold, exciting, very brave person and actor who makes bold choices. And I think that shows in his work and what's going on in the show at the moment.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, very exciting. So just going back to your prosthetics, so how long did you have to spend in makeup, like from when you arrived to being done?
Stephen, it was horrific. It was 5 hours the first time. 5 hours.
Gosh.
And then once they got the hang of it, it's sort of like 4.5. But every time you see us, so every time you saw us in a new scene that would have been a new day, it was a new prosthetics. They never used the same one again. So there were lots and lots of those prosthetic heads, and they would just replace it every time. But it was about 5 hours the first time, and then, of course, an hour and a half to get out of it. And I remember saying to one of the runners, say I had a panic attack, how would I get out of it? Because there was no way out. I couldn't have taken it off.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's completely glued to the whole face and head and then sealed at the back. So I don't think I really got the... I mean, to be honest, Paul Foreman, who's just absolutely beautiful and a model.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he actually... I don't think he knew he was going to have to... I think he thought it was going to be a body double. And I was like...
Oh, I see.
Paul, when you went to Aylesbury... and sat in that chair, what did you think was going to happen? So obviously I can't tell you how difficult it was being in those prosthetics, and we had a hilarious moment, and I never lose my temper, but we did a night shoot and they cleared out all of the green room. So I didn't know where my phone was, didn't know where anything was. My jacket had gone. And but we had to travel back to base. And I was like, sorry, where's my... They were like, just get back to base. We need to get back to... And I was like, no. I need my phone. Anyway, so I need my phone. I need to speak to my daughter because it was 5. By the time I'd have got back to the hotel, it would have been about 7:30. And I was like, anyway, and then I really, really got cross. I was like, I need my phone. And then it was one of the drivers when I was in the car. He said, I've got to say, you looked absolutely hysterical in that blue head. Because I was really going, where's my phone? I get that phone now. And I'm forgetting that I'm in this huge prosthetic head.
Yeah. I can just picture it.
It was absolutely ridiculous. But so just the design, I think the design's so impressive.
Yes.
Of all 4 of them, and they are really clever at that studio. And they do all of
it. Is nice that it's, you've got very different looks, all of you. It's not just like they've given you one uniform appearance.
Except the other...
they're very individual.
Stephen, I'm going to stop you there. Except the other 3, I mean, it's stunning. Whereas you're too young to remember a character called Orville. Do you remember Orville? Just Google it. But there was
the bird?
Yeah, the bird, Orville.
Yes, it rings a bell, yeah. Yeah.
And Indira was like, it has got an Orville energy to it.
Yes, yeah. I will say, of all the 4, yours was definitely the most... out of the box.
Wasn't it just? I mean, I've been getting so many, it's so lovely actually, but so many DMs and people contacting me who like the Hooniverse, all of these people, and actually they're just obsessed with that. They're obsessed with that character. They're obsessed with the Butler in the head. It's amazing. Yeah. So I'm really, really pleased with the way that it's been received.
Yes. I think my favourite bit is when you became the vicar, didn't you? And then when you transform and you do this brilliant sort of head shake of like... the whiskers just shake. It's so brilliant.
Do you know what? Thank God for theatre and thank God for my background because, with a lot of telly, especially when you're guesting on a huge show like that, there isn't the rehearsal. So we didn't have like 3 days or a week's rehearsal like you would sometimes. It was literally on set in there and we just did it. So out of makeup, on set into the scenes. And that was what was quite extraordinary about it because it was like, how is this going to look? So I was kind of just making up. I mean, I hope people thought it was my best method acting of studying birds for 3 weeks before, but it wasn't. It was literally just how do I make this work? And I'm really...
Yeah.
I haven't watched the episode because I need a bit of time.
Okay.
But my mum and a lot of people have said that it worked, so I'm happy.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. when you're a pro and you know what you're doing and you just go in there. It's a lot of it's instinct, I guess, isn't it?
Total instinct. And what's the whole Bridgerton element as well really helped, because it was that regal kind of like straight back type of thing. It wasn't like we were having to really move around. There was a lot of scope with the Bridgerton element. And actually, I won't say their name because they're very, very important. But downstairs from me is somebody who works on Bridgerton, and they're American, and they are just fabulous and so good at their job. But they watched the episode and they were like, "It's literally Bridgerton. It is. It's so clever." And people now have been, where I live, a lot of people know. They were like, "Are you in Bridgerton?" I was like, No, it's Doctor Who. It's Doctor Who. So we're just trying to pick it up. But it's so clever what Russell did with it. It really is amazing.
Yeah, definitely. What else was on my list of questions for you? Actually, yeah, I must ask you about this because this is completely unrelated to the episode. But about 20 years ago, because I had to look up of some of the stuff you've done, and apparently about 20 years ago you were in a CBBC show called The Misty Show.
Oh my god, yeah, I was. Do you remember that? You're too young, surely.
Well, I don't remember it, but the reason I bring it up is because you were in it alongside an actress called Yasmin Page. I don't know if you remember her.
Oh my god, of course she was one of the tiny kids. Yeah, she was amazing.
Yeah. And she will be known to listeners of the podcast for being in the other Doctor Who spin-off, the Sarah Jane Adventures. And I just wondered if you remembered what she was like. It's just a funny connection that I noticed.
I can tell you a lot about Yasmin, because Yasmin I actually taught.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when she was a kid. Whilst I was in shows in the West End, I used to teach in the day at a stage school, and she was one of the kids who went there. She's a very, very talented child actress. Like, she could do anything.
Yeah.
She was in a show, she was in a film called Submarine that was really well received, and she's done a lot of good work. And the Sarah Jane Adventures was just I didn't realize how iconic it was until I'm starting to.
I know, it's particularly like in the years since, like the people who grew up watching it, and they still remember it very clearly.
Yeah,
now.
I mean, I'd like to think that I'd like to hope that Russell does something like that again. He does.
I would hope so.
Version of some. Obviously, I know it's Elizabeth Sladen, wasn't it, who played?
That's right. Yeah.
Obviously, I know she passed away, but it would be amazing to have some sort of another version for kids, where it's directly, there isn't that kind of split, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
So yeah, I do. But Yasmin, fabulous, and that
would be cool. Yeah,
20 years ago. Can you believe it?
I know. Yeah.
I often with my daughter in the library, sometimes like people who are obviously a lot older come up to me and sort of like talk about that show, and one of my friends said, "Doesn't it get annoying?" And I was like, no, 20 years ago, and people are still recognizing the fact that I haven't aged beyond recognition. Like, thank God. So yeah, I mean,
yeah, I can see that side of it.
Yeah, so it's been a great career, really, to just get to be a part of all of these different shows, and I feel like Doctor Who's kind of bookended a period of my life. When it went out, I'm actually doing a master's at the moment, so I'm having to take a little break because it's just so full on. But bookend, I feel like it kind of bookended a section of my life, especially with the pandemic and everything. So I'm ready to, whatever comes next has got to be something quite special, actually, I think, to top that experience.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your experience with me.
Thank you. I hope
it's been huge fun.
It's been huge fun, and I did listen to your podcast, and it's so interesting. I think it's...
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, really. I love it. And I think that it like, especially the Russell T Davies, when it went through the writer who'd written the book on Russell T Davies, and actually he really,
that's right, yeah,
he really did get us into telly, didn't he? A lot of us, especially Queer as Folk. And now the fact that he would have done that again with It's a Sin, which was just so mind-blowing.
Yeah.
I feel...
100%, yeah.
It's really, I mean, it's really, really exciting, and hopefully I'll get to work with him again. I'd really love to work with him again. That's something I'd like to do, because he's just...
Did you meet him, have any contact with him at all? Or
I didn't get to meet... I have met Russell, but I didn't meet him while I was doing the show. but it was more Phil Collinson, really.
Yeah.
But I would like to be honest. You know, whenever someone like Russell T Davies calls, you just go running, don't you? You're like,
oh, 100%, yeah.
I mean, if I'm whatever contract I'm in, if it comes around again, and then apparently our characters were really popular. So, you know, apparently characters do return. So I just thought it would be just my luck. It would be just my luck to be asked back in the Chuldur head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, no, I think we should have a Chuldur spin-off, and you should get your own show.
Well, please, Stephen, please, that would be with Indira in the lead. But actually, maybe that would be the 5 million we talked about. The £5 million.
Yeah.
But it's lovely to chat.
Well,
thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.